Thunder crashed as Ethan found her bleeding. The storm had swept in faster than predicted, turning the familiar mountain trail into a treacherous maze of slippery rocks and fallen branches. Ethan's heart pulled his hood tighter against the driving rein, his experienced eyes scanning the path ahead. At 38, he had hiked these trails countless times, but nature never stopped demanding respect. That was when he heard it, a faint cry barely audible above the howling wind. Through the dense fog, he spotted her, a young woman with dark hair plastered to her face, sitting against a moss-covered boulder. Her designer hiking clothes were torn, and she clutched her ankle with obvious pain. "Hey, are you okay?" Ethan called, rushing toward her. She looked up with startled green eyes. "I think I twisted my ankle pretty badly. I have been lost out here for hours." "I am Ethan. What is your name?" "Sophia Lang." Her voice trembled, whether from cold or fear. He could not tell. Ethan knelt beside her, his carpenter's hands gentle as he examined her swollen ankle. "This needs attention, and we need to get out of this storm. My cabin is about a mile from here. Can you walk if I help support you?" Sophia nodded, and together they began the careful journey through the increasingly dangerous terrain. The rain pelted them mercilessly as Ethan guided her along safer paths, his strong arms steady around her waist. Every few minutes, lightning illuminated their way to the towering pines. "Almost there," he reassured her as they finally reached a small log cabin nestled among the trees. Warm light glowed from the windows like a beacon of hope. Inside, Ethan quickly built up the fire, while Sophia collapsed gratefully into a worn leather chair. The cabin was simple but welcoming, filled with handcrafted furniture and the scent of pine and wood smoke. "Let me look at that ankle properly," Ethan said, bringing over a first aid kit and a bowl of warm water. As he carefully cleaned her scrapes and wrapped her ankle, Sophia studied his weathered face. "You live out here alone?" she asked. "Most of the time. I build custom furniture, and the quiet helps me think." He glanced up at her. "What brought you so deep into the wilderness dressed like that?" Sophia hesitated. "I needed to get away from the city. Sometimes the corporate world feels suffocating." Over the next few hours, as the storm raged outside, they shared simple food and tentative conversation. Sophia found herself drawn to Ethan's calm presence and genuine kindness. He asked no probing questions about her obvious wealth or why she had been hiking alone in expensive gear. "My father always said the mountains would teach me humility," she said, staring into the flames. "I guess he was right, though not how he intended." "What does your father do?" Ethan asked casually, refilling her coffee cup. "He runs Lang Industries. Construction and development mostly." The cup slipped from Ethan's hand, shattering on the wooden floor. His face went pale. "What did you say?" "Lang Industries. My father is Thomas Lang." "Why, do you know?" "Your father destroyed my family's home to build a shopping center," Ethan said quietly, his voice tight with old pain. "My parents lost everything. Dad never recovered from the stress. He died 2 years later." The color drained from Sophia's face. "Ethan, I had no idea. I am so sorry." An uncomfortable silence stretched between them, broken only by the crackling fire and distant thunder. The warmth they had been building seemed to evaporate. "I should go in the morning," Sophia whispered. "The storm will not clear until evening tomorrow," Ethan replied stiffly. "You can stay until then." Despite the tension, they could not help but continue talking as the night wore on. Sophia spoke about feeling trapped by her father's expectations and the loneliness of her privileged world. Ethan shared his journey from devastating loss to finding peace in the mountains. "I never wanted any part of his business practices," Sophia said, "but I felt obligated to take over the family legacy." "What would you do instead?" Ethan asked, his anger slowly giving way to curiosity. "Help people. Build homes for those who need them, not tear down what they love." The next day brought an urgent knocking at the cabin door. A park ranger stood outside, rain still dripping from his jacket. "We have been searching for a missing hiker," he said. "Thomas Lang, the businessman. His daughter was supposed to meet him yesterday, but neither showed up at their planned location." Sophia gasped. "That is my father. We were supposed to hike together, but I went ahead when he was late." Without hesitation, Ethan grabbed his gear. I know these trails better than anyone. I will help find him. You would do that? Sophia asked, amazed. After everything? Ethan paused at the door. He may have hurt my family, but no one deserves to die out there. The search took hours. Through treacherous ravines and over slippery granite outcroppings, Ethan led the rescue team with determined precision. Finally, they found Thomas Lang sheltered under a rocky overhang, hypothermic but alive. As Ethan helped carry the older man to safety, Richard looked up with confused gratitude. Why are you helping me? Because it is the right thing to do, Ethan replied simply. Days later, as Richard recovered in the hospital, he asked to meet privately with Ethan. The conversation was difficult but honest, filled with accountability and genuine remorse. I want to make amends, Richard said. Not just words, but action. Within months, Sophia had left her corporate position to start a nonprofit with Ethan. Together, they built a wilderness education center where at-risk youth could learn outdoor skills and find healing in nature, just as both of them had. The day they opened the center, Sophia and Ethan stood watching children explore the forest trails. Her hand found his, and for the first time in years, both felt truly at home. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For showing me what courage and forgiveness look like. Ethan squeezed her hand gently, knowing that sometimes the most beautiful things grow from the most unlikely ground.